Hey, welcome back to YT Finance, and this is the channel where I went to business school so you didn't need to, and today we are talking about Lucid Motors LCID stock and why it could absolutely explode and surge in their share price. We'll be going over the latest news updates as well as the price targets by analysts to determine where the stock price could be headed in the future. In the two articles we will be analyzing today, we're going to discuss the potential for this company's share price to enter into a short squeeze, which will cause the share price to absolutely skyrocket. We'll also be talking about the rumors of the Saudi Arabian wealth fund taking over Lucid Motors and completely buying them out, as well as their very high short interest, which hopefully will lead to a short squeeze. And on top of that, even if a short squeeze does not occur, we can still see that the future share price of this company is pretty profitable based off of professionals' estimates, projections, price targets, and price predictions. So for more videos on Lucid Motors, remember to go and annihilate that like button right now. Comment your thoughts down below about where you see the LCID share price headed in the future. Subscribe if you are new, and without further ado, let's just jump right into today's stories. If you're not familiar with this company, quickly, this is a luxury electric vehicle company, and they are a startup company, which means they are not as solidified as, say, another electric vehicle company such as Tesla, who is currently the market leader. And the best part about this is you don't have to choose between Lucid or Tesla. You can definitely invest into both of these companies because both of these companies could build your portfolio value. Now, the reason why Lucid is in the news right now is because they recently had an amazing January in terms of their overall stock price appreciation. The main reason for this is as speculation grows that the Saudi Arabian wealth fund could potentially buy out the electric vehicle company, this is pushing their shares even higher. The author of this article believes that this acquisition or hostile takeover will take place with Saudi Arabia buying out Lucid Motors, because it's not as far-fetched as it seems, according to this stock reporter. And the author also believes that if Saudi Arabia decides to buy out Lucid, that this could lead to a huge windfall for existing shareholders. So let's discuss what he means by this. In my opinion, the best part about this is that the share price of the company that could be acquired or bought out normally skyrockets, which is exactly what we are seeing with these rumors right now in Lucid Motors LCID share price. And with their stock price increasing more than 40% just in the month of January, that's exactly what's happening here, which is great for investors. Now, there's a couple reasons why the author believes that this buyout will actually take place, and he's going to refer to Saudi Arabia's wealth fund as PIF, and that's also how I'm going to refer to this entity. So essentially, PIF is going to represent Saudi Arabia's wealth fund, which is already very invested into this company. For instance, the PIF already owns 61% of Lucid Motors, to where the majority of their holdings exist in preferred stock. On top of that, the PIF has also provided capital not only for this company to scale production, but also they have been funding Lucid's research and development expenses, prototype development, as well as their overall manufacturing. So, with such a solid backer such as PIF, Lucid Motors looks to perform very well throughout the future, even if they are not acquired. And according to the most recent Lucid data, the company produced more than 6,000 to 7,000 electric vehicles, which was their original forecast throughout the year of 2020. But let's talk more about the PIF. For instance, they have been funding not just manufacturing, research and development, and just general funding, but they also have helped Lucid fund production facilities. So it's really not out of the question for the company to acquire 100% of this company, considering that they already own approximately 60% of the company as of right now. The second reason why the author believes that the Saudi Arabian PIF could buy out Lucid Motors completely through an acquisition is that the country already has plans to expand this company internationally. For instance, Lucid Motors has already signed an agreement with the Saudi Ministry of Investment, and that is essentially to build another Lucid Motors production facility outside of the United States, to where the production capacity of this new facility is estimated to be 155,000 electric vehicles for Lucid Motors. So this is going to pay huge dividends for not only investors who own this company currently, but if Saudi Arabia decides to buy out Lucid, it will allow them to achieve a giant return on their investment. Now, with that big catalyst potentially happening, which could cause the share price to go even higher temporarily, there's also the possibility that this company could experience a short squeeze. And the reason why many professionals believe this could happen is that more than 1/3 of Lucid's float is shorted right now. As of right now, 34.3% of their overall outstanding shares are being shorted, and that would equate to roughly 165 million shares of Lucid being shorted. This also can artificially lower the overall share price of a company. However, if there were anything to cause a giant increase in the overall share price, this would force short sellers to cover their short investment, thus increasing the share price even more, which means that the share price of the LCID stock price could absolutely surge, explode, and dominate, surging from their current price of around $8. But we'll get more into price targets later in this video. Right now, let's talk about more on their production and sales side. Lucid Motors as a company is still somewhat of a startup electric vehicle company. They are not mature yet in their overall space. They are still scaling. But the good news is that Lucid expects their sales to increase throughout the year of 2023 and beyond. For instance, Lucid Motors is forecasting to generate around $2.57 billion worth of sales this year, which would represent, get a load of this, 289% growth compared to the year prior. On top of that, the company is also very well positioned to double their production throughout the year of 2023, which is absolutely amazing. If you want to look on screen here, we have a small chart that illustrates the company's overall anticipated revenues from analysts' predictions. And this would be on a quarterly basis, to where the company is growing by leaps and bounds. But that's not all. On top of the company's current sales forecast of $257 billion, that would equate to a PS ratio, or a sales multiple, of 8.6. For a growth company, that's not too bad, especially a growth company with over 200% growth. That's actually relatively cheap for a growth company to have such a low sales multiple and such a high growth CAGR in terms of their revenue. But it gets even better, because if Lucid Motors doubles their sales, which is what current estimates are saying, to where their revenue for 2024 could be $5.14 billion, that would cut their sales multiple virtually in half to just 4.3 times. And from 2024 onward, we could see that the company, if it maintains its current share price, would be an absolutely insane deal, making it one of the best EV stocks to buy on the stock market right now. Lucid's vehicles have also progressively become more popular. If you look at any drag racing channels on YouTube, you can see that their vehicles are absolutely praised for not only the technology and luxury, but the pure speeds that these EVs are attaining. Which is why many car enthusiasts, or just rich people who want this type of car, have racked up 34,000 reservations as of November of 2022, and since then I could only imagine that their reservations have increased. So the future of this company looks pretty bright as long as they are not acquired, even though in the short term this could cause the share price to increase. But throughout the long term, even if they are not acquired by Saudi Arabia, we know that this company looks to have a bright future. So we either have a catalyst in the form of a short squeeze which could take place, which would cause the share price to skyrocket in the short term, or we have the potential for Saudi Arabia to acquire this company through a buyout, which would also increase the overall share price. If both of those don't end up happening, we can see the long-term trajectory of this company over the next 2 years to be extremely positive, considering that their revenue growth CAGR is over 200% and that they are willing to double their overall sales from 2023 to 2024. So this is absolutely amazing, and I really like the future prospects of this overall company. But for me, you know I like to dig deeper, so now let's talk about their fundamentals and their production and what professionals are saying about this company. Lucid pre-announced their fourth quarter 2022 production and delivery numbers for its Arizona facility, to where in the fourth quarter, they say that they produced 3,493 vehicles, which would amount to a 53% sequential increase from quarter three, where they only produced 2,282 vehicles. So they are becoming more efficient at producing these electric vehicles. You also need to be aware of, if you are an investor into Lucid or want to be an investor into this company, that they are regularly beating their overall guidance, particularly in deliveries and overall production. And this has impressed analysts across the board. For instance, an analyst said, and I quote, "We are encouraged by LCID's fourth quarter 2022 production and delivery numbers. Lucid's full year 2022 vehicles are above company guidance and a good sign that production is beginning to scale and ramp up in our view. We remain bullish on LCID over the long term, and we continue to believe that the company's vehicles are able to produce greater battery efficiency, longer range, faster charging, and more interior space relative to peers," end quote. So this is a very good comment and even a compliment from an analyst. As of right now, we are waiting for Lucid to announce their quarter four results for the full year of 2022 and their quarter four financials for 2022, which will be announced on February 22nd. It seems that this particular analyst who gave us the quote has a buy rating on the company with a price target of $18 for the LCID share price, which would equate to a 118% upside potential over the next 12 months for investors. However, it's not all good news, because we do have analysts that are spread out. For instance, there are 3 analysts who say to sell the company, 2 of them say to hold the company, and 3 professionals say to buy this company. Right now, the current share price trades for $8.31, and the average stock price prediction and forecast is $14.17, which would still give investors around 70% upside potential, which would be a phenomenal return for investors. Now, this is where I come in, because I want to tell you why these analysts think the way they do. So first, I want to point out that the lowest end price target is $8, meaning that the company could actually lose value over the next 12 months, while the higher end analysts say the company could surge to $21. So where do I fall here? So for me personally, I only have a 1% allocation to this company, mainly because it's a risky growth company. I have way more money over in Tesla, BYD, and other electric vehicle makers who have already proven themselves. But I do think the long-term trajectory of this company could be pretty positive if they don't get bought out. And the reason for this is that I disagree with analysts who say that the company is worth around $8. Why is this? Because if we look at the people prescribing this price prediction, they are not very good in their overall discipline. For instance, we have no-star analysts and one-star analysts advocating for lower price targets, but we have a 4.5-star analyst saying that the company could surge to $21 over the next 12 months, and that analyst is a very prestigious analyst named John Murphy from Bank of America. And the reason why he is rated a 4.5-star analyst is because he is right the vast majority of the time. Over 70% of the time, this analyst has made correct predictions, so he gives them a buy rating, and he stands by a $21 price target. So I would love to hear your thoughts down below on whether or not you think the LCID share price will experience a short squeeze, whether or not you think that the Lucid stock price will increase more if the buyout of Saudi Arabia to Lucid Motors goes through, or where you project the future of this company and where you think the company is headed in the future. For more videos like this one, go ahead and smash that like button if you haven't already, subscribe if you are new, comment your thoughts down below, and I will see you in the next YT video.